Welcome to the Inspired by Jacqueline podcast, a refreshing place for women struggling with entrepreneurship, faith, or infertility. Stay tuned for today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inspired by Jacqueline. And wow, looking forward to this. This is going to be an eye-opener because this is one of my former students who I kind of labeled my superstar student because she's just flying high and she continues to fly high. So you'll tune into our conversation and see why I call her that. And you'll probably find out earlier on in the conversation. But I want to welcome Daarina Farooq-Jannah. And I hope I didn't butcher her name because I'm always butchering names, but I'm sure she'll correct me. And like always, I will share her full bio in the show notes. But for now, I wanted to let you know a little bit about her. Daarina is a floral designer. You know what? She is a superstar floral designer. Okay. She is a mega entrepreneur and the owner of Blourish. And it's a luxury Black owned design company based in Atlanta, Georgia. And she has this passion from years ago, from the moment that I met her. She had this passion to create her company. And when I saw her company Flourish, it was just an amazing seed that was planted. And then she just kept on, and she's been going on for years. So I'm going to bring her on just to share a little bit about what she does and who she is. Hey, Daarina.
Hey.
I shared a little snippet. I don't know if you want to add a little bit something to that.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Jackie. It really is a honor to be here. It's like we've come full circle
Yes, yes.
since I took your class all the way back in 2015.
Oh my goodness, that long?
That long.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be almost like 10 years, right? I was going to say
That's
15
crazy.
years, but
Now that is crazy. But yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Daarina Farooq-Jannah, and I'm a Black owned luxury floral designer here in Atlanta. My company is Blourish. I've been in the floral industry since 2015. But I officially started my business in 2016. So between 2016 and now, we have rebranded a few times,
hmm
but Blourish is the final and lasting brand for the company. And, I'm grateful. We've been growing so much.
wow. I'm okay. Let's go back. Let's go back. You said you went to one of my classes. I was teaching the Preston Bailey design course,
Yes.
right? Lehman College in the Bronx. You're from Atlanta. How were
Yes.
you getting there?
Right. Because I was not rich buying plane tickets every week. But at the time, my husband worked for the airline. So I had flight benefits.
hmm
So every week, I think your class, was it on a Tuesday night?
On a Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those
Tuesday
two
night.
days.
It may have been on Tuesday and Wednesday night. But every week I would hop on a plane that morning and fly to LaGuardia, and I would catch the bus to Harlem where my friend stayed, and I would go to your class that evening, and I would go back to her apartment and stay the night and fly out the next morning.
Wow. Wow. I'm still amazed to this date because that is commitment.
Commitment.
That
10
that
weeks,
is
10 weeks straight.
yeah, for 10 weeks that was commitment that and you were doing it with a smile, you were
Yes.
doing it with purpose, with intention.
And I
And
don't think I missed a class.
no, you did not.
I did not miss a class.
I was like, oh my gosh, you're what? You're flying in for this? Oh my goodness. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And I was really, really impressed. It left a stamp inside of my head that
Mm,
she's going places because
wow.
she is committed, she's intentional with it, and you came to deliver. You
Mm,
were, you, I mean, it's like you're really taking this huge step, and you came with a mission. You came to complete the course, you but not only to complete it, but to also leave with it and leave with an intentional moment that you're
right.
going to pursue your passion.
Right. And a few things that came out of that course was, while I was going to New York, I don't know if you remember me calling Weinstock's office,
Hmm. Yes.
and she agreed to meet with me while I was there. So that was a really cool thing that happened. I went to visit some like rental companies while I was there.
Hmm.
And I also got the David Tutera internship through, being a part of your program when I was there too.
Yeah, and you got to also connect with Mark, right? Floral designer.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, with all those intentions, you were getting a lot of positive things that were going on at the same time. And
Yes.
then you were working for a different company at the time.
Yes, I was working for a company called Legendary Events at the time, which is one of Atlanta's like larger event
Hmm.
planning companies. And I worked there for about 6 months, and I learned everything that I could, about flowers. I worked there in the
Right.
flower department.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And so, you're an entrepreneur. So go back to that moment that you felt that you wanted to be an entrepreneur. What was that spark of light? And then what has been holding that spark
Hmm.
and flaming that spark through this day?
Yeah, honestly, as far back as I can remember, I've wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know, Even when I was a kid, I remember wanting to, I used to really be into like hair, like in styling hair, styling black hair. I used to buy the magazines and mimic
Hmm.
the hairstyles. And I wanted my own hair salon, so I
Mm,
had it all mapped out in my head, of how was it going to look and the layout and what I was going to do. So it was always something in me to have my own business, even from when I was young, at a young age. And I think the family that I grew up in, because I come from a family of educators and creators and entrepreneurs, and that really kind of shaped me too. And it kind of encouraged that entrepreneur spirit. I came from a family that really encouraged the entrepreneur spirit, which, kept me going. So I would do, before I officially started my business, there were things that I would do in college, like put on different programs and projects and stuff like that. And then I started my very first business, back in, I want to say 2007, 2008, doing interior decorating. Then I
mm.
went from there to fashion. And then, I landed in flowers, So it's always just kind of been in me through support of my family and just my own passions.
Got it. And what is keeping that spark of your entrepreneurial journey?
You know, One, being able to be creative and do what I love. I've always kind of been that type of person that I thrive when I'm being creative. I thrive when I'm using my hands and my creative mind to, to make things better, to make things more beautiful and pretty. And so that passion is what drives me. And I think what also drives me is just that leadership.
Mm,
Being able to be a CEO and, make decisions about my business and grow my business and grow my income, that keeps me going because I have a lot of goals, big goals that require wealth. And I know that I can reach that through entrepreneurship.
mm. So you mentioned something interesting. You mentioned wealth. right?
Mm-hmm.
And most people, when they come into entrepreneurship, they're like, yes, I want to be my own boss, and I want to, pay my own salary and all this
Mm-hmm.
and that. But what's the difference with that mindset versus a true intentional mindset of understanding what wealth is and how to organize it?
I think the difference is like, because in the beginning of entrepreneurship, you've got that passion, right? That
Mm-hmm.
initial passion of wanting to do it, but then you find out really quickly that you may be broke for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
those in those beginning years. But I think what fills the gap is the education aspect, and really learning and perfecting your craft and understanding how business works.
Mm,
And I feel like that's the missing piece. A lot of time we just know what we do very well, but we don't really understand how business works. And if
mm,
you don't understand how business works, you can't really, you know, build wealth in the right type of way,
got it.
you know.
And what obstacles have you, I mean, you mentioned, we feel like we're going to be instantly rich, and it's like, no, we're going to be broke for a little while,
It's gonna be broke for a
right?
while.
So that's an obstacle, right? And
Right.
so what other obstacles have you come across that have been pivotal in your journey as an entrepreneur? And how have you curtailed that to make the best out of those obstacles and make them better?
I think the obstacles, well, for one, finding the balance,
Mm,
with family life.
mhm.
I have 3 children and I'm married. So finding that balance where you're able to give of yourself to your family, as well as, to your business, cuz both of them need you, you
Right.
know.
And when you first started, you didn't have children.
You're right. And it's like I could just fly to New York for 10 weeks straight.
Exactly.
No big deal, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, children, they shut all that down.
Like, nope, that's it. Wheel it in.
Right. They shut all that down. And I think the other challenge that I had for a long time, I just struggled with, like, okay, how do I actually like create wealth with this?
Mm,
You know, like how do I actually make consistent money,
mhm,
like where my business can actually survive on its own, you know? And so for me, how I saw that was through joining communities, of, women and minority folks who are focused on the same, goals,
mhm.
focused on those same type of goals. So I think those were probably the main two
Okay.
challenges for me, just trying to figure it out, because it was like, a lot of times it's like stuff feels so not secretive, but it's just like
Mhm.
you see other people online doing things and being successful, but you don't really know how they're doing it, and what somebody else's path looks like is going to be different from yours. What worked for somebody else may not work for you in terms of building wealth and growing your business, growing income in your business, so just really finding that balance. Okay, what does a successful business look like for me, and what do I need to do in order to get there?
And that makes sense because, you learned a trade, which was floral design, right?
Mhm.
And you can have 10 people in your class learning the same technique, but
Mhm.
success means something different to each of those 10 people.
That's right.
So how they're going to approach their business and build, that journey of being an entrepreneur CEO is going to be a complete different mindset, goals, all of that. And
Right.
so, what kind of prepared you to say, well, okay, I learned all this, but then, and you mentioned being a part of communities. So, what is
Mhm.
like one key thing that you learned from a particular community that
Mhm.
made you really understand what your path of success was?
The thing that, so I'm a part of a community called We Should All Be Millionaires with Rachel Rogers. And I've been in that community for over 2 years now. And the main thing that I learned that I feel like really catapulted my business
Mm-hmm.
was to focus on one main offer and one main audience.
Mm.
Because it's like, you can get, when you're growing your business in the beginning stages, you think, oh, if I just have more offers, then I can make more money, you know.
Exactly.
So let me have this class over here, and let me have this t-shirt design over here, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Oh, let me make this planner, you know. And it's like, I'm trying to do all these different things, but it's like, and then as a creative, it as a creative, you know, you feel like you're going to miss out if you don't act on a creative idea, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to act on every creative idea or every idea that you have. And also seeing so much on the internet with people saying, oh, I made $1 million selling t-shirts, oh, I made $1 million selling planners, or I made $1 million selling this. And it's like, that's cool, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like bite, you know, on every little thing that you see. Focus and trust that your gift is going to bring you to where you want to be, you know. So when I really focused in, okay, I'm just gonna focus in on flowers,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I'm not gonna be doing all these. And then the thing about flowers, there are different types of florists. You know,
Exactly.
you have florists who have flower shops
Mm-hmm.
that push arrangements out every day. You know, you have florists who just do custom deliveries, you know, and you have florists who do both. And you have florists who do eat weddings, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all they do,
And
wedding
big
flowers.
productions.
Yep. Installations, corporate. So I had to find my lane that was really working for me and focus on that. And for me, it has been corporate companies, brands who need flowers for their events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I love doing that. I love creating centerpieces. You know, I love creating beautiful recipes that go with their brand colors and stuff like that. And when I focused in on that and focused in as I am a luxury Black owned florist here in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, when you Google me, I'm the first one that comes up.
Wow.
I'm the first one that comes up. And then when I did that, things started to really take off.
And okay, we're gonna burst some bubbles, okay? Because
Okay.
you're saying things just surface up, right? You're making it seem like it's like little things, and no, it is not no little things, okay? Because I need you to walk me through the journey of you're I feel like you're your own segment on a TV, local news
Oh.
TV thing, and some celebrity clients you have,
Yes.
and and all jokes aside, it's all about you. Like you said, you found your intentions, you found your
Yes.
purpose, and you concentrated and focused on it in order to get you to the path that is success for you,
Uh-huh.
right?
That's right.
Because not to say that you now service celebrities means that, oh, everyone can service. Yeah, everyone, but then it's not for everyone.
Right.
Because, like for me, I service high-end clients, but I don't service celebrities. And I done a few, yes, but it's not my focal
It's
goal.
not
It
your
just
main focus.
comes,
Right.
yeah. So you attract those who are meant to, once you understand and you hone in on that. So tell me, how did that path of you finding, okay, this is where I'm going to hone in, all of a sudden you're on TV
Yes.
showcasing that special magic that you are putting together?
Right. Right. So I started going on the TV shows a few years back when I would pitch like, oh, can I do like a Thanksgiving segment and things
Mm.
like that. And I didn't get a whole lot of traction necessarily from going on the shows, but what it did do is build credibility, right?
Exactly.
So I would go on the local shows, and then I would get connected with another show and then go on that show and stuff like that. And then like through the program I told you I'm a part of, that's what got me the opportunity to be on Good Morning America
Mm-hmm.
and be able to display my business there. And I honestly think that through the focus, these companies started reaching out to me. For a little while I was doing flowers for the Louis Vuitton store here in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. And then I was able to do flowers for big brands like Hulu and Delta and Pepsi
Mm-hmm.
and Black Enterprise, Forbes, and the one of the latest we did was Beyonce's Be Good
Mm-hmm.
organization. We did flowers for that, and that was just a dream come true. So it just kind of, it's like once you get one, it just kind of keeps building up, and people know like, okay, she's the go-to for that. And I have to thank the Gathering Spot because that's a club that I've been a member there, private membership club that I've been a part of for some years now. I'm a founding member, and they would refer things to me
Mm.
often. And so I think whenever you really do something and you're intentional about it and you do a really good job, you have to create safety for people to refer you,
Right.
because
Exactly.
like with the Hulu client, that was a big deal. And the Gathering Spot, because I've been working with them for so long, they trusted me enough with their client,
Yeah.
with their client. So another thing is making and building connections with people, like
Mm.
especially at these venues, at these hotel venues and stuff like that. Because when they have their clients and they ask them, do you have a florist you can recommend? I want to be at the top of their mind,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
when it comes to that. So yeah, that's kind of how it
Okay.
happened.
Yeah, and that's basically what you just shared is you have to invest time, right?
Hmm.
And source out what you can connect with that is authentic, right?
Right,
Connection, because you're saying you're part of some groups and all that stuff, but if you weren't really connected to it, they wouldn't have seen how genuine you were
right,
to build the relationship, to for them to trust you with their clients, for
right.
them to say, oh, she's not going to be like bringing in a whole bunch of other people just because you're this client and all
Uh-huh.
that. She's a trusted client. She's going to deliver on what you're going to be ordering, and that's all you're getting. You're
Yeah,
getting a true
right.
professional. And so what are your next steps for your journey in the next 5 years? How do you see Blourish? Because I know during COVID, you're also doing some online pieces as well,
Mm-hmm.
being and all that stuff. So walk me through the transition from when you started with Blourish and then how it's transitioned and where is it now?
Right. So during COVID, when my events completely stopped, and that was like right when my business was just about to start taking off and everything stopped. And so I said, okay, well, let me just create some deliveries for Mother's Day. So I got pre-orders and I did the deliveries, and I was driving around Atlanta, my husband, my sister-in-law, making these deliveries. And I said, oh, it would be nice to have like a branded like delivery company, because a lot of times when you get flowers, you really don't know the florist it came from. You just know
Mhm.
you got some flowers. And so that was the original intention behind rebranding as Blourish, as a
Mm.
luxury floral delivery company. And so we designed the flowers. We had our box with the Blourish logo on them, so people know they was getting a fresh Blourish bouquet. They know exactly where it came from. And so I think doing it that way really branded me in a very special way.
Mhm.
And so even when I transitioned out of the daily deliveries to focus on the events, it my name was already strong. The name was already
Exactly.
strong in just such a short period of time.
Mhm.
So I officially launched Blourish at the top of 2021. It was a floral delivery company. And then 2022, we were still doing some deliveries, but we
Mhm.
started back picking up on the events. And then 2023, we completely stopped the daily deliveries and focused fully on events. And moving into 2024, we are focused on targeting the luxury hotel ballrooms, the
Mm,
conference center, the convention centers, wherever there's a ballroom with hundreds of tables.
that's awesome.
We want to be the go-to for that, because my goal long term is to build a multi-million dollar luxury black owned floral brand based here in Atlanta. I'm open to travel, but I
Mhm.
would love it if I could just keep things local, because I personally don't want to be hopping on flights all the time.
Like I did that for my course,
I
but
did
that's
that's
where I
it.
want to keep it.
I don't want to do that. I was like, I don't want to be
But
a
I like
travel
that you
florist.
share. I really thank you for sharing that transparency because, like you said earlier, you don't have to do everything everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
For you, your purpose, it works, right? You want to
Yes.
stay local. You want to stay true to Atlanta, right?
Yep.
And
Hmm.
so that's what I'm hearing in your messaging, and that's what I'm seeing. And so that creates, for that, like let somebody else fly over to pick it up and
Right.
take it to where it is.
Right.
It's like that's what your brand is calling out to be. So
And
from what you said.
I feel like I can do that. It's really going to be about staying focused, being intentional, and making the right connections.
Exactly. I love how you share that and share that transparency, share what's important to you in your journey, because at the end of the day, it's your journey,
Yeah.
right? It's your success.
If I'm hopping on a
And
flight, I want to go on vacation.
exactly. So speak about vacation, right? That's my next question. So how do you manage? I know we talked about earlier about balancing, right? Work
Hmm.
and life and everything. What is your favorite go-to vacation? Tell me what family vacation is like. And are you able to unplug completely, or tell me a little bit about that?
I think, well, I'm a beach type of girl. I love going anywhere near water and,
Mhm.
you know, calming ocean wave sounds. Now,
Yes.
I can't swim.
We're on the same platform. I love all of that, and I can't swim, so
I
we're
can't swim.
there.
I want to learn how to swim, but I'm so scared.
The older
But
we get, we're like, nah.
yeah, but I love the water. I'm comfortable in
I
the
love
water.
it.
I could get in, but I love a good beach
Mm,
vacation. Just really beautiful scenic views, you know. And I also love going home to Houston. You know, I'm a Texas girl. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. My whole family is there, you know. So it's great to go down there and see my family. So trying to keep it balanced between, you know, going back home to see family, you know, and creating experiences for myself and my children. I was able to go on a vacation with some friends this past
mhm,
summer to Jamaica, and that was my first time going there. And, you know, and it's so funny, Jackie, because on our last 2 nights in Jamaica, we stayed at a luxury hotel called Strawberry Hill. And
mm,
so when as we were walking up the hill going to our room, one of the hotel managers, he had this beautiful flower in his hand. And I was like, it was something we ain't got here. We don't have it here. I was like, what is that? You know? And so I can't even remember the name of it, but it was so pretty. And I told him I was a florist. And he was like, oh my goodness. He was like, we're having a dinner tonight. Are you available to create this arrangement for us? And I was like, sure.
oh my
He was
gosh.
like, you can use any of the flowers in our garden.
Oh my
Girl,
gosh.
I had my baby on my back.
Oh my Lord.
I
That is
went
a
through there.
dream.
I went through their garden and was just cutting flowers and created the most beautiful
Oh,
tropical arrangement for a dinner they were having with the World Bank.
oh
And
my
it
goodness.
was just so like random and exciting. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe I'm designing flowers in Jamaica right now.
Oh my gosh. And for a
So
special
my thing
dinner.
is I can design flowers anywhere.
And that proved it. But you know what? What I gathered from that, from you sharing that is that you have confidence in yourself and your skills. And when
Yeah.
you have confidence in your skills, that kind of like elevates your
Mm,
purpose, right? And your
mm.
intentions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like hits the spot. It's like it's this feel good moment that,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is a whole different level that I'm in right now.
Right. There's so much power in saying yes,
Mm,
even if you don't know how you're going to do it. And I
mm-hmm,
feel like that's a muscle that I've built like over the years. Like, because in
mm.
my mind, it's like, is it possible? Okay, then I can do it if it's, as long as it's possible, you
Yeah.
know?
What? They have a garden? What? Okay.
Okay. I was like, yes. Another yes moment I had was right before I had my third baby.
Mm,
I want to say I was maybe, I can't remember how far along I was, but a company reached out to me, actually, the National Black MBA Association.
mm,
They reached out to me and they were having their 44th annual conference and they needed about 233 centerpieces across
wow.
across 3 days worth of events that they were having at the Georgia World Congress Center, which is the largest venue,
Wow.
that like of a congress center that you could have in Atlanta. And so anyway, they reached out to me and I was like, I knew that at the time of their event, I was going to be about 4 or 5 weeks postpartum,
Mm,
you know. So I'm still pregnant, at the
mm-hmm.
time they reached out to me. I think I was. No, wait. They reached out to me 2 weeks before their event.
Oh my gosh.
So no, I think I just had the baby, maybe.
Oh my. Wow.
But I was like, okay, I'm not turning down this job, So I was like, yes, I'm gonna
Mm,
make this happen. I just need to have someone replace me,
mm,
you know.
wow.
So I hired a lead florist
Mm-hmm,
to do my job. Um, she helped me hire other freelancers
mm-hmm.
to put the flowers together. I ordered all of my flowers. I had them shipped in. We had like 70 something boxes of flowers,
Wow.
shipped in from Miami from their farms.
Mm-hmm.
I rented a space to work out of, and I had my baby with me.
Wow.
And we got all of those centerpieces done and delivered and picked up,
Mm,
on time for the from the venue. And I had a nice maternity leave,
wow.
from my business, you
That's
know.
awesome.
So you have to build that. Yes, your mind can't instantly go to the I can't, you
Mm,
know. It's like, oh, how can I make this happen? When
yeah.
you open your mind to the possibility, you will be shown the possibilities.
I
But when you immediately go to the I can't, you'll immediately be shown the obstacles of why you can't do it.
exactly.
Like everything around you will help you prove whatever it is that's in your head.
And with that said, throughout this whole course of your entrepreneurship journey, has there been any fears that kind of made you stumble a little bit or second guess if you're in the right journey or not?
Not anymore. I think in the beginning, like when I was telling you, it was like a little bit more difficult for me to focus. I thought if I just focused on being a florist,
Mm-hmm.
then I wouldn't be able to fulfill these other passions that, I have or things that I want to do. But like once you really focus in on the main thing and you keep the main thing, you either kind of forget about all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, when you start making the money, you don't even worry about the other stuff anymore.
I'm telling you, it's
It's like, oh, I'm straight, So,
yeah.
and I don't even think about half of those things that I used to think
Mm,
about wanting to do all the time.
that's great. That's great. And so now tell me, what are some of the important lessons that you have learned that highlight your career?
The important lessons that I've learned is to always educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always educate yourself in whatever it is that you want to do in your business, even if you're just starting, to become knowledgeable about it. Always educate yourself and gain knowledge about business and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship and how to grow a business and how to create income and wealth, in that. Another lesson is to don't be afraid of expanding and building a team. You know, there is somebody out there who can do your job better than you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stop trying to do all the things in your business because it literally is impossible to grow that way. You know,
Exactly.
and that's a lesson that you continue to learn. I'm still learning that lesson because there are
Mm-hmm.
still a lot of things that I need to let go of in my business that I haven't let go of. And I know that once I do build that muscle and let go, things are really going to take off, you know?
Awesome. And I'm glad how you say, building that muscle, because that's basically what it is. We
Mm-hmm.
put our mindset on it, and we can't and focus on it, and it's really building that muscle of releasing,
Of
of
releasing. Yeah.
letting go.
Letting go. Because I mean, a lot of times, with entrepreneurs, a lot of times we have control issues.
Mhm.
And we want to control everything in our business. But it's like having being in control and and growth almost sometimes can't like coexist. It's like you
Yeah.
have to relinquish the control if you want to really like grow and expand in a sustainable type of way.
Yeah, and so I know also that you're taking in knowledge, but you're also giving knowledge as well. So tell me how you stumble upon doing workshops, showing and educating and all that.
Yes, so I think I love the stage, you know, and I love being able to, teach people something,
Hmm.
how to create something beautiful. So anytime I go have the opportunity to go on television, I'm always demonstrating how to create a beautiful floral arrangement, or I've been invited to host a workshop. And so a lot of people want to, you know, learn how I create the flowers I created. So I eventually just created my own online course called Bloom Class, where I basically teach my whole strategy on how I create beautiful arrangements at joinbloomclass.com. So that's what led me to creating that, so more people can have access to my knowledge and how
Hmm.
I go about creating arrangements.
Awesome. And so, as an entrepreneur and being in, I'm sure, a mix of different other entrepreneurs, what are some top two or three struggles that you find that other professionals are struggling with?
Yes, so the top ones, I would say one is not focusing on one thing.
Hmm.
Trying to do too many things in their business, trying to do having too many offers or too many audiences. It's like, and then people say, well, Oprah does it or whatever. It's like, yeah, but Oprah had a talk show for 25 years.
Yeah, and she has a big team.
Yeah, so it's like, find that talent that you're really good at and give it a shot. Like,
Hmm.
really focus on it and see where you can go with that one thing, instead of trying to do all the other 10 other talents that you got. Okay, you can sing, cool, but like, do you want to sing or do you want to do this thing over here? Like, pick one.
Exactly.
So I would say doing that, like, that's one thing I see that they struggle with. Another struggle is branding. I think a lot of times people struggle with imagery and putting like a nice professional looking brand out there, and knowing how to communicate what their business is, what it does clearly. through their branding and conversation around their business, especially with social media content,
Mm,
content creation. That's a big struggle for people.
mm.
Creating like quality content that speaks to your business and tells people exactly what you do.
Yeah. And I'm glad you shared that it's still a really key struggle, because not because you're showcasing your products or your services on social media means you have a brand or that you're
Exactly.
showing a brand. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Right.
That's kind of how you market it and all that stuff. But there's actually, okay, what is the true essence of the company you're running, right?
Exactly.
What
Right.
that includes the whole feeling, the experience, all of that. That has nothing to do with, oh, I'm on social media, I'm sharing, a picture of my flowers. Yeah, but those are just flowers. What is your brand?
What is your brand?
Hmm.
Exactly. What experience do you create for your
Exactly.
customers that
Yeah,
they connect to every single time?
exactly.
So I think those would be the
Okay,
main two.
awesome. And so before you got into floral and all that, have you've always been in entrepreneurship?
Yeah,
So,
I graduated from college in 2007.
hmm.
And when I graduated, I worked at a bank. I worked at a
Mm,
bank for 5 years.
wow.
And in that time, I started two businesses, you
Mm.
know, while I was working at that bank. So I was always trying to break loose.
So I'm glad that you shared that, because that leads to my next question. So that next question is, someone who is working and trying to start their business,
Hmm.
what tips would you give them on how to approach? Do they just up and quit their job so that they can focus on this new entrepreneurial journey, or do they wait? What skills should they be looking for?
What I would suggest, see, I was blessed to have a husband who worked and had a consistent job
Hmm.
that allowed me to grow my business without fear of my bills not getting paid. you
Got it.
know so I will say that. So but regardless of what it is, whether it's a husband or a side hustle or whatever, like, you have to have a consistent income stream so you won't build a business out of survival mode and scarcity,
Mm,
you know, because then you start making decisions and taking on the wrong type of clients because you need the money to pay your mortgage or
mm,
something like that. So I would say either, and there's so many ways to make money
hmm.
today, you know. So my suggestion would be to find a consistent income stream that can cover you while you build your business, whether it's a job, whether it's a side hustle,
Hmm.
or spousal support, or whatever. Find a consistent income stream that can help you, you know, while you build your business, so you won't be building it out of survival mode and you can truly be creative and build the type of brand that you want to build.
Those are words of wisdom.
Okay.
You hit it on the nail. And so the follow-up question to that is, all right, so now I have that going on. I'm good. When should I be thinking about releasing myself from that world that I want to leave in the past and now move ahead with my business?
When working there is making you lose money in your business because
Mm,
your time is taken up there, and if you're having to miss opportunities in your business
mm-hmm,
because you have to work there, then I think that's a good time to transition, because okay, well, let me transition out of this so I can give this energy over here, because your business needs you in the beginning to grow. You don't just start out off the back hiring a team.
exactly.
There are
Exactly.
different stages to entrepreneurship, and in the very beginning, it needs you just like a
Mm,
newborn baby needs you.
mm. And so, what would be the second and third stage?
I would say the second stage is, and this is something I learned through my program too, like, depending on what income level you're in,
Hmm.
like, The second stage will be focusing on your main thing
Mm-hmm.
in your business. And then you want to get to that point after that when you are bringing in some type of consistent help that you can
Awesome.
pay. And when you're paying somebody, even if it's for 5 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
you paying them should help you increase your income.
Mm.
It's really like an investment because a lot of times we think, oh, I can't afford to pay somebody. It's like, no, if you're paying somebody, they should be helping you create more income
Mm.
in your business.
As we're coming down to the last few questions, since you're in floral design, what advice? I know you've given so many great nuggets, but one other nugget of advice would you share to someone who's looking to get into floral design?
For someone who's looking to get into floral design, one thing I would say is that it's not all roses,
Literally.
like it looks super pretty, but it can get grimy,
Mm,
like when you get those boxes of flowers in and you got to open them up and get all those leaves off of them,
mm,
you know, and put them in water and find a cool spot for them so they won't die before your event or for the arrangement you got to make. Like, actually study the industry. And then you can start off going to, if you don't have a wholesale license yet, that's fine. Go to the grocery store.
mm-hmm,
Flowers are flowers. They come from farms. They all come from farms. Some farms are better than the other.
mm-hmm,
Find the grocery stores that have the quality, the flowers that they're getting from quality farms, that you can use and you can practice,
mm,
your designs with. But don't just stay there.
mm-hmm,
Find like good suppliers and connections with farms so you can start, getting these different types of flowers in bulk
mm.
and stuff like that. Um, to my advice is to really study the industry and continue to just kind of be a lifelong learner,
That's
you
great.
know,
Yeah.
as you
And,
grow your business.
and so, if you had one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, like a real superpower or
Like a
like,
real superpower, like Wonder Woman, like.
oh my gosh. I think to like snap and I have an entire team in place to help me to run my whole business so I can just relax.
Love it, love it,
Create
love it.
more time.
Mm, that seems to be a consensus, like from other podcast guests. Time is a big one. And so, what is the biggest takeaway that you hope that listeners took away from today's conversation?
I hope that the biggest takeaway is that when you focus, you flourish.
Mm,
When you focus, you flourish. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to focus in because when you really think about your future self would thank you for that focus.
mm, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Anything that we didn't cover that you want to share?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you gave so many great nuggets. Tell us where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Blourish. My personal page is at Daarina. And you can find me at blourish.com. You can Google me.
Love it, love it, love it. And I just love how you've, kept your energy, your positive mindset and I'm always following you and when I messaged you I was like, "Go, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you."
Oh,
It's just
thank
one thing
you.
after another and I totally wish you continual success in what you want your journey to be and the experiences. I know that you're offering amazing experiences to your clients and to anyone that comes, in contact with you. And I am truly honored that I was your instructor when you were flying out for 10
Yes.
weeks.
Getting
that
flued out.
that kept me. I was like, oh my gosh. So, but I thank you for your time today, and I will definitely be sharing your links and everything in the show notes. And hopefully, you'll be able to inspire someone with all the nuggets that you shared today because you were on point with each one of them. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for everything. And thank you for being one of my first teachers on this journey.
Oh, and again, thank you for your amazing contributions to this chat. And I hope that, your next steps are owning a plane to travel your Blourish
Yes.
merchandise all around.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us, and for everyone listening, take care and make sure to subscribe, follow, and tune in to all the other episodes if you've missed any, and stay tuned for the next episode of Inspired by Jacqueline. Take care.